from Ryder Avenue down to where 112 comes in there, you've got your gas stations. I don't know why, did they change the law that you can make illegal left turns now? Everybody that comes out of a gas station, instead of turning right and going with the flow of traffic, they want to cross over to the other lanes. You see that on one gas station going up to 112. They want to go north. I see that all the time. These illegal turns are terrible. And another bad thing is all these curb cuts around Country Kitchen down further. It seems like every 20 minutes, 20 seconds, or 20 feet, I should say, there's another curb cut. People are coming out. They want to make like that auto place right opposite 112. They're making illegals. They all want to go in the opposite direction. I don't know why driving laws are not enforced. I know police can't see all of that. Maybe it's something that I see because I'm aware of how people drive.
You know, in certain locations there are signs up that no left turn or whatever, but it's very hard to legislate people's behavior.
Well, what if we had more advertisements or a campaign that honestly told people that, if you make a legal turn or if you're not driving right, honestly, I would say you're not welcome in Patchogue. It's a hard thing to say, but, what is the safety here? I mean, are we supposed to allow anything to go on?
No.
It's horrendous. And then if you see the turning lane, a lot of people ride the turning lane instead of waiting for you to, if you're going to turn left at a light up there and you're going to move over, where your markings tell you to move over. They're riding the lane behind next to you. And you just hope that you see them before you pull over. I just think that whole safety issue needs to be addressed. We're growing and we're getting more complicated and more busy, but this drinking to me it's horrendous. I just thank God that if he hit me, he didn't. Maybe my bad night was somebody else's good night. That he didn't hit somebody else or some kid crossing the street.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
He's off the roads now, but who's going to stop him from getting back on later on?
Well, I'll talk to the mayor about it.
I would appreciate it because I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. We're growing in so many different directions, but safety, we are not growing in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. And I just got a new car again. I don't want anybody hitting me. I never had a nickel from an insurance company that they had paid for me in all my life. I had 3 accidents, always at a traffic light. Somebody running into me because they ran the light. But this one, I'm just glad I survived. That could have been a fatal thing, that's for sure. It was a Honda and it was a good, strong car, but saved me. God saved me, so I'm here to tell you.
We'll talk to Paul.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming by. Nice to see you. What else? Mr. Kemp.
Good evening, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Richard Kemp, Jennings Avenue. I am also here to speak about the problematic situation that exists in the village, that the village administration has allowed to proliferate for years now. And I have asked some time ago if the village could impose a something to stop the bar explosion in the village. And Mayor Pontier just denied everything flat out. But everything that I read on the patch was the number of DWI arrests in Patchogue Village, DWI and drug-related arrests in Patchogue Village. And the most recent was someone on Lake Street was struck in the head with a beer bottle, which to me is a very serious matter. All the details were left out, but that was on the patch on the computer. So you have a very, very serious problem that exists in Patchogue Village. You have listened to merchants complain of people urinating in mailboxes, people vomiting. This is going on and on and on, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I am now seeing beer bottles that people are leaving on my street, on Jennings Avenue. They don't even bother to break them. They just put the bottle down and leave them. I guess they're afraid of noise.
I'd rather
whatever.
than do that and break it. I'd rather break an empty beer bottle than break a beer bottle. I'm not saying. it's
Well,
good to do that, I'm
I've
just
seen
saying,
it
you know,
in
I'd rather
in other places in Patchogue Village also. Just a beer bottle, just standing by the side of the road. And, you know, the whole atmosphere of Patchogue Village is, oh, come to Patchogue Village. You want to drink? You want to have a good time? Come to Patchogue. And I see this going on and on and on, and it's not getting better. It's getting worse and worse and worse. There have been people killed from, and this was reported that a driver killed a pedestrian. This was a couple months ago from the Emporium. I don't know whatever happened with it, but that was reported from the Emporium. Whoever he hit was killed. So there's a death, you have a death, you have whatever happened to this person on Lake Street. It had to be a very serious injury when they were struck in the head with a beer bottle.
Excuse me. Captain Costello?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, I take your promotion. Have you heard this event on Lake Street?
No, I haven't. The beer bottles I have heard about, and our guys have written that up
Oh,
when they see it, but as far as someone getting hit in the head, no.
okay.
That was strictly with the Suffolk County Police Department, 5th Precinct. And also, I have another question. There was a time when the 5th Precinct used to come here to this hall to give a report. Whatever happened to that?
Sure, what happened to that? Yeah, they used to have it. I think it's probably manpower.
A few places command changes.
Yeah, there's commander changes, and I think it's probably at the discretion of the commander. And I'll speak to the mayor about that and see if we can.
Is there any reason that a report could not be presented to this village board
That's a question.
and made a part of the record?
That's a question for the Suffolk County PD. It's not me.
Well, I think that this information, since your officials don't know anything about it, but the Suffolk County Police and the Patch do, I think that this information is vital to your knowledge of what's going on. And your failure to do anything or act is very inappropriate.
Well, if it's a police issue, we have no jurisdiction over that. I mean, we can't act on a criminal complaint. I mean, we don't want our unarmed local public safety people getting involved in situations where they would be in harm's way. So it's a police issue, and we'll discuss that with Commander of the 5th Precinct.
Well, the whole pitch that I'm trying to make is that the whole environment of Patchogue Village has become drink, drink, drink. This is the place to do it. You can do anything you want. I have people who complain to me. They live in Copper Beach or Cooper Beach or whatever it is. They complain to me that they would never have bought a condo in that complex because of the fact that there are so many people who take the train to go to the Emporium, and when they return at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, they march back to the train cursing and swearing up a storm all hours of the night. And they tell me, we would never have come here if we knew all that.
Do you have anything else on your agenda?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But I think this is a serious issue that needs to be looked into.
We will look into it and address it.
I mean, the lady who's lucky to be alive, who spoke before me, you know, I didn't see any report of that. I don't know if that's being hushed up. I don't know what's
I
going
don't
on.
believe it's being hushed up.
Well,
Police matters.
That wasn't hushed, I was on the scene, so Mary.
So was I.
On the scene, Lieutenant. We're very aware of what it was, we're very concerned about it, and I've spoken earlier with Mary about it, so.
okay, but you don't, nobody knows anything about Lake Street and what happened there.
No, I don't know anything about this.
Okay, well, please look into it. I think you should as a responsible elected official.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Moving on. I have been by the abandoned cemeteries on Waverly Avenue, and they appear to be returning back to tall grass, weeds and trees growing. Those abandoned cemeteries, by New York state law, those come under the jurisdiction of the town of Brookhaven. It's their responsibility to maintain abandoned cemeteries. This is New York State cemetery law. So I'm quite familiar with that, and I think that they need to be,
Have you gone to a town board meeting to voice your concerns?
no.
I would suggest that you do that.
All right, well, I'll bring it to your attention. I just drove by there yesterday and looked at it and I said, you know,
We'll look into it.
things are not
but if
looking good.
you need to, I would suggest you,
It looks like everything is being done to Lakeview Cemetery to make that look nice, and new headstones and benches and irrigation. And
As the village's cemetery restoration committee, we should thank Steve Beal, who's worked very hard on that.
And Steve has told me he's very short-handed on volunteers.
Yeah.
Very
Lakeview
short-
Cemetery is a volunteer organized effort.
Oh, and Steve Bill is also on the payroll, correct?
no,
No,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not.
My God.
No,
Oh,
he's a
he's never a
volunteer.
park ranger or a
No.
park
He's
officer?
an
they're all that volunteer,
He's an accountant.
they're all volunteer.
He was never on the village payroll. Is that correct or
His son was a
incorrect?
Parks
my
Department
law.
seasonal employee. His son was a Parks.
Steve Junior,
Yes.
right, but Steve Gill, gentleman is responsible for the upkeep.
Is he on the payroll?
He
Yes
has
or no?
never
He's
gotten
not on
any
payroll.
compensation from
Jeez.
the village. Just look into it.
Mr.
He's an
Kemp,
accountant.
that's
He's
the
a
answer, so
lab.
don't look straight, you know who's been on the payroll.
All right.
I think
Let's
you're
move on.
confusing him with his son.
All right.
Let's move on.
As far as tall grass, boarded up houses, I notice on Maple Avenue, there are 2 houses between Oak Street and East Main Street. There is one house on the east side of Maple Avenue that is boarded up. It has weeds growing up the whole side of the house. The grass must be 3, 4 feet high in the back, and it's a very unsightly looking mess.
Do you know the address there, Mr. Kemp, or
No,
I can
it's,
take it right by, I'll check into it, and I'll be in touch with Peter.
it's, you can't miss it. It's on the east side between Oak Street and
Yeah, I know the house.
there's also,
Yeah.
Is it brown?
Yeah,
Is this brown house?
White House?
it has 2-tone roof shingles.
Should be on our grass cutting list.
We're gonna make sure that something gets on the grass cutting list.
All right, you also have a boarded up house on the southeast corner of Oak Street and Maple Avenue, and one,
Have you reported this to the village?
No, I just came here to this meeting, you know.
How long have you known those houses to be in disrepair like that?
The one with the weeds growing up the side, it's a two-story house. Okay, you know where it is then? Okay, then, isn't there something on the books about weeds growing up 2 stories on a house?
Oh, definitely.
We'll
Well-
look into it, we'll look into it.
Okay,
Sal?
that's about it.
Wait, Mr. Kemp, you're sending me mixed messages. What does your shirt say?
For a good time, just add beer, and this is very sarcastic.
I was gonna say, I wanted to make a note of that, because I know you wore that on purpose for your sartorial style.
I do not drink, and my
Mr.
friends
Kemp,
do not
Mr.
make
Kemp,
fun of
Mr.
me.
Kemp,
You wore the shirt, I wanted to get it onto the record.
you wanna speak, speak.
We knew it was sarcastic.
We knew it was sarcastic. Your whole point was the beginning part of your presentation
Right.
was opposite your message on your shirt, was I correct?
Yes.
And you didn't mention your shirt. I wanted to do that for you.
Okay, all right, please, these matters, something needs to be done.
We got your point.
I asked
Mr. Kemp,
a
Mr.
man.
Kemp,
Yes,
you got your point, okay? Clerk is gonna look into it, trustee Felice is gonna look into it. You made your point, next.
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, before, Mr. Bojack, before you come up, sir, you are, who?
Vito Camardi?
Excuse me?
Excuse me, Vito Camardi?
Oh, you're not here for,
No, just public.
Okay,
Oh,
maybe
okay,
you
all right,
were here
all right.
from one of our Patchogue Pride, because I didn't recognize you, I didn't want to have you.
okay. Mr. Bojack,
Good evening, everybody, and I will be brief. Just 2 things. You referenced Mr. Kent's comments on the one before. I think we forget sometimes, and every person should be reminded that you don't have to wait for the police to come here. You can go to the police. They have a meeting once a month. The 5th Precinct Commander is there. I've been to several of them. Often when I've been there, I've been the only person from Patchogue Village at those meetings. Nevertheless, just as here, we have an opportunity to address the commander, whom I found to be an involved individual. So I think that Mr. Kemp, or the other person coming before him, and anyone else, when they come to these kinds of police concerns, and Mr. Kemp's quite correct, there was an assault, there was a beer bottle, it was on Lake Street, it was in the media, that those are the matters that the police deal with, and they're the people really to answer the questions about that kind of issue.
very good point.
So I think that's one recommendation I would make for everybody. And the other thing, it's not really a question, it's just a concern I've actually emailed you about, Lori, which is that eventually we're gonna have a public hearing on the multi-acre self-storage facility on River Avenue. I've been to the planning board meeting, as you were as well. I have some concerns about it, I'm gonna leave that be for the public hearing. But one thing that I didn't address at the time of the public hearing, and I discovered later on, is there are giant, big trees on this property. And I'm just wondering, do we have any regulations concerning the destruction of trees in the village at all? And now I'm talking about trees that look to be 50 to 75 to 100 years old, that are, I guess, going to be axed. But nevertheless, it sort of bothers me that might be their fate. So I'm going to leave that as a question, because I think we've been here long enough.
It's a good question for the planning board.
how we understand that.
It's a question for the planning board, but they may seek some guidance as well from the village. If there are no laws, I'm not sure the planning board will take any action.
I know the town of Brookhaven has laws about trees on certain side of the property, I think it's 2 acres. But, I don't know if the village has that same.
Well, it's actually, I'm telling first, but we have old Patchogue and new Patchogue, and I know what's happening here. The facility's gonna move ahead, I believe, and we're gonna have something that's actually pretty good. Yet, we're losing the greenery of the village at the same time. That balance between those 2 values is what's always at stake. And it's gonna come up when this proposal comes up, because those trees are old, they are beautiful, and I guess they're gonna get the axe. But maybe we should think about what that means to us as a village.
Good point, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes.
new resident to the village,
Welcome.
Can you spell your last name for me?
C-A-N-A-R-D-I. Just wanted to find out, we spoke with somebody in the town last week in regards to bamboo. My neighbor has it, it's starting to encroach onto my property. My property has actually been buried 2 feet into the ground with the covering. It's supposed to prevent the growth coming through, but it's coming through now. I just need to know, is there any type of things on the board? What was going through?
No, but you need to contact, Brookhaven Town.
No, it's in town directly, not to.
Relative to the.
Well, that,
It's a New York State
that's,
ordinance.
that's the ordinance.
So there it goes.
It's New York State now, not to plant bamboo.
You can't have it.
But we don't have plans, right?
But
No,
if it's,
we
if it's
here in the
legislative.
village, I don't
You
think.
bought the Bitters house?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But since it's in the Brookhaven Township,
That was your old next
it
door
has a
neighbor.
legitimate.
Two owners ago, I lived next
No,
door.
I don't know if the jurisdiction in the village are.
Oh, okay.
My old house, two owners ago, yeah, the current owner next door.
Brian,
I mean, but
Follow New York State.
just because the town of Brookhaven has legislation about bamboo, they don't have jurisdiction
No.
over Patchogue.
oh, they
Follow
are,
New York State.
okay.
The state code would, but the town code would not.
Is there a state code?
I don't think so.
And if there
I think it's all
isn't,
local.
should we consider following, because it is very invasive and it's not something, I only know one other house, which is by me that has bamboo.
I knew about the issue,
When doing it based on plans ordinance, or
Well, bamboo especially is not good native, and it is, I had a friend who planted bamboo many years ago, and when I would go into the neighbor's yard, hear him coming up under their swimming pool, hear him flying, the whole backyard flood.
I can evaluate what the town's code is, and see if it's something appropriate for those who don't.
Well, my fear is it's probably about 7 feet away from the cesspool, and once it hits the water, once it gets inside there, everything's gonna crack, and it's just gonna go like crazy, because it's all it does is look for a water source.
Now, have you spoken to your neighbor?
I tried, there's no answer, spoke with the town, and had a representative go over, and,
Do you have availability during the day to, are you available anytime during the day or you work? What's the address of the house with the bamboo?
I don't know.
12, I think.
12 Argyle?
Was that your own house?
My former next door neighbor. On the house of origin of the bamboo is on the east side of Argyle. You're on the north side of Pine Boulevard.
Yes.
This is the first time I've heard of bamboo issue in Patchogue. You have
There's a lot of
others?
buckets bamboo.
Yeah.
It's pretty aggressive, and
Do you have bamboo?
We have bamboo behind our cottage. You cannot eradicate it. We dig it, we chop it down, we put weed block and chips over it. You just cannot eradicate it. The man next door is probably struggling the way we do. It's invincible, that's all I can say.
And the bears in Patchogue.
Brookhaven Town has a law about it.
What's that?
Brookhaven Town has a
No, I
law
know.
about it.
Yeah, we'll review
village
our,
first, then talk to you guys.
yeah, well, you came to the right place. We'll review and take a look
Very
at it.
isolated issue, we haven't really had a lot of requests for it, but what I'll do is I'll look at what the town code is with town Brookhaven, and I'll see how it fits with us, and we'll bring it up to the board for potential for a public hearing.
Are any of your neighbors also affected by this, or just you?
I'm not really there a lot, so I just saw her popping up on my side, so I got most of the day.
I will check into it and see what we can do as far as local water. Eradicate this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, welcome to the village. When did you move in?
November.
Anybody else?
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second?
Second.
Adjourn.